You're listening to DraftKings Network.
Decisions.
Wait a minute. Are you still looking for cars on Carvana?
Yeah, decisions.
When I used Carvana, I found the exact car I was looking for in minutes. Bought it on the spot.
Electric or full diesel? Decisions.
Come on, you've been at it for weeks. Just buy it already.
You're right. Crossover it is. Decisions decided.
Whether you know exactly what you want or like to take your time, buy your car the convenient way with Carvana.
Hello, welcome to the Hockey Show. My name is Roy Bellamy. David Jork is to my left. He writes for the Hockey News. The Florida Panthers started the season a little bit bittersweet because they got the rings.
They did.
They raised the banner.
They did.
And they won the first game.
They did.
Against the Boston Bruins.
It was nice.
But they went to Ottawa and lost their first-line center.
That sucked.
Yeah, that sucked. We'll get into that in depth a little bit later. But we're going to start with a couple of slap shots here. These are our hot takes. And we're going to try this out for a little bit, see how it works.
We're trying something different. We're going to listen to Rose for a change.
Yeah, this is a Rose idea. So if it doesn't work, blame Ethan. Because Ethan's here.
Ethan's in Rose's seat this week.
Ethan's in Rose's seat this week. So, that's the situation.
Ethan already broke his laptop this morning, so he's already having a rough time.
Wasn't my idea.
Yes, it was.
But you're Rose.
Yeah, but right now you're Rose. You're in the chair.
Okay, so I take the fault for Rose's ideas.
That's right.
The backup quarterback goes into the game and throws an interception. He's going to get it.
That's the backup quarterback's fault.
Yeah.
No, but you're wearing the helmet. Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
I mean, yeah. Maybe you're the kicker. I don't know. But anyway, slap shots. Hey, how you doing? All right, so in Tuesday's home opener for the Florida Panthers, we saw a bit of a situation that led to Max Jones slashing an official. Yeah. It was by accident. And
but you can't do that.
You can't do that.
You can't touch the referees.
You absolutely can't do
Here
that.
It comes. Here it
comes. Evan Rodriguez
I don't blame him.
Yeah.
I don't know what Erod was doing. I mean, obviously he's trying to piss him off, and that was probably the best case scenario. No slap to the linesman, obviously, but I mean, Rodriguez is probably thinking this is exactly what I wanted to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's such a bad look.
TJ Luxmore was the referee in that was closest to the play and ended up giving the unsportsmanlike penalty to Max Jones.
Yeah.
He figured it was incidental contact. I mean, be in control of your stick, dude. That's suspendable. He needs to be suspended for that. He didn't get
intent doesn't matter. You got to set an example. You got to say you cannot accidentally, intentionally. You got to be aware. You cannot. Because we're lucky though that the linesman didn't get hurt. Seriously,
really,
he got a hard slash to a part of his arm that's not padded. There's no padding there.
Any discipline for that outside of the penalty?
2 minutes for unsportsmanlike conduct.
That's it. Nothing from the league.
No, we would have heard about it by now.
Oh my good God! How's he get away with that?
This was just a prime example of what the last 2 years of Boston and Florida has been, which is Boston trying to bait Florida into being dirty, into playing rough. Florida just playing their game, going on and kicking their ass and winning the game 6-4. I mean, it was the perfect example where Erod just kind of baited them. They slash an official. They go on the power play. They didn't end up scoring on the power play, but still, this has been the story of Florida and Boston for 2 years now. Am I wrong?
Yeah, and we're going to get into that later because Boston, they did not keep their cool in this game.
No, they didn't.
Not whatsoever. David, your slap shot.
All right, feed me a one-timer. I'm going to take my slap shot.
There you go.
Nice. My slap shot is Alexis Lafreniere on the New York Rangers. I think he scores 40 goals this year. I think he might actually score 50 goals this year.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I think a big year incoming for Alexis Lafreniere. We saw a lot of that during the playoffs last year. His confidence grew by leaps and bounds. He's starting the year playing well with the Rangers. Obviously, he's going to get a lot of ice time. He's going to get power play time. I think this is going to be his breakout season. Look out for Alexis Lafreniere.
The fact that he did it against the Penguins is even better. And that's going to be – I'm going to bring that up in a little bit.
Yeah.
But now let's go to the wins of the week, at least for opening day. Our wins. Yeah, we have W's. All right, so – I'm going to start with the Canadiens defeating the Maple Leafs first game of the season 1-0 on the back of Sam Montembeault. I mean, I got some stats here, and this is interesting because he had 47 saves, all right? That is an NHL record for most saves in an opening day shutout. Most saves in a season opening shutout.
Yeah, he was pumped too. Good for him. Good for Sam.
Yeah, good for him. It's the most saves in a shutout versus the Maple Leafs in the Canadiens' head-to-head history against the team, and that is a very, very long time. And the Maple Leafs were shut out for the first time since November 20th, 2021.
And
that doesn't make any sense to me, but that's what the stat said.
Was it Cole Caulfield that scored that goal for them?
Yes.
Wearing the number 13 for the first time?
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. And the Blue Jackets played at the Wild. They had their moment of silence.
Yeah.
And their home opener is against the Panthers.
Tuesday.
Oh, boy. That's going to be emotional. And, wow. Oh, man. I'm telling you, like, once they do that in Columbus, like, Columbus might win like 6-2 in that game. It's going to be an emotional night. They're going to carry that one with them for probably the entire series. So
there's going to be a lot of emotions that night. There's going to be, in the stands. I'm just trying to like play it out in my head, and the results of the game really it's kind of secondary, right?
Yeah, like not a dry eye in the house.
Yeah.
Let's go to your W of the week.
Perfect segue. My W of the week is to my brethren in the goalie union. Just all of you, congratulations. I feel like it is becoming our time. Our time is if I'm going to benefit from it. But
you got pads.
We got Jeremy Swayman getting his contract. He's getting $8.2 million, and Linus Ullmark doesn't get the same term. Obviously, he's a little bit older, but Linus Ullmark gets the same $8.25 million from Ottawa. And then you got Igor Shesterkin, supposedly turning down an $88 million offer, what would have been the richest goalie contract ever handed out.
Oof.
He passes. He's like, nope, I'm going to hold out. I think it's awesome.
We obviously know why he's holding out. He's waiting for that cap to go up.
Yeah, well, dude, right now the power is in the goalie's hands, and I love that. Look, you could argue, but you can't win without a good goalie. You can't get through the playoffs without a hot goaltender.
Yeah.
And Igor Shesterkin is probably the best goalie on the planet right now. So the fact that he's turning down the most lucrative offer ever offered to a goaltender, definitely, surely going to get a even bigger offer. So that's my win. Good job on you goalies. Our time has come, and just don't forget the little people.
So just touching on Shesterkin, I was listening to the 32 Thoughts this morning, and they were talking about the situation, Friedge and Kyle Bukauskas, and basically he was saying that the Rangers kind of don't seem inclined to make Shesterkin the highest paid player on the team, even though Shesterkin wants to be the highest paid player on the team. He's probably the best player on the team, right? Especially with Panarin on the wrong side of 30.
Right.
I just am curious, like, with the cap situation going up, right? So they said that Panarin's number is 11.64. Doesn't that mean Shesterkin would want something like 12.5? Plus the fact that he said he wants to reset the goalie market. Like, with Bob making 10, 11 wouldn't really be a reset of the goalie market entirely.
No. And Bob's contract was handed out, 6 years ago now, 2019. So absolutely. I think Igor's probably going to get 12, 13 is probably in the area of what he wants. Maybe he wants a bigger number. Who knows?
Yeah, 2019 numbers is definitely not going to be 2025 numbers.
He can do that, though. He has been one of the most consistent goalies in the world for a long time. Before he arrived in the NHL, he was tearing up the KHL with SKA. He has been consistently good. Like the track record is there. Yeah. So I got no problem with this.
And I know you're congratulating Swayman, but if he had waited one more night and saw that Korpisalo performance, and saw what Ullmark at 8.25, I think was the next day, like, Swayman could have cashed in a lot more if he had just waited a little bit.
Well, he's young enough. He's going to have to wait until that next contract, and once that happens,
his next contract. He just signed for 8 years.
Well, who knows? He'll get the veteran minimum. Who knows?
Swayman making $8.25 million. If he continues on this path in 2 or 3 years, that's going to seem like such a bargain.
These contracts,
seem like a Panthers contract.
All these contracts are going to seem like such a bargain because the cap is expected to go up so much in the next few years.
Yeah. It's about time because
there's no restructuring in hockey, right? Like, they can't in a few years guys be like, pay me $13 million because that's market value now. Like, this is what they're stuck with.
Happen.
No, compared to all the other sports.
Well, look at NFL. Every other year there's restructuring Tyreek Hill's contract.
Yeah. It's not just that. The players are just underpaid compared to all the other sports.
Well, yeah, and the other day, Paul, I know we don't have this sound, but Paul Maurice said at Panthers practice the other day when he was talking about Carter Verhaeghe's contract, he's like, I know hockey players and hockey coaches are overpaid, and let's start with that. And I'm like, maybe compared to like Joe Schmo, but in the hierarchy of professional athletes, they are severely underpaid.
Yeah, I want to talk about the long-term contracts for the Panthers later in the show because they got basically everybody they need locked up and build around them.
Bill Zito's the man. But I know you want to get to, we got our fails coming up, and I know you're excited to talk about your fail of the week. So let's clear the path. Okay, let's stretch. Let's get nice and ready here. So, Roy, drum roll. What is your fail of the week?
Solo on me, please. All right, so.
Smiling.
The Pittsburgh Penguins.
What about the Pittsburgh Penguins?
They got curb stomped. 6-0 by the aforementioned New York Rangers. So Vincent Trocheck had 2 goals. Alexis Lafreniere,
that was a
goal.
Shorty, I believe. That Kreider goal right there.
Yeah. Alexis Lafreniere, a goal and 2 assists. Timmy Panarin, 3 assists. Sidney Crosby, -1, 2 penalty minutes.
No points? No. Oh, I guess not.
No, he got shut out.
No points.
Solo on me again, please. Yes. That was my big L of the week. The Penguins failing. That's it. That's all I have to say. Thank you. Dave?
He's got me. There's like a movie out right now about people who are like, when they smile at you, you're cursed and you like get killed in a gruesome way. I think it's called Smile. That's what when I see Roy, I'm oh my God, somebody's going to die.
Yeah, that's the Penguins franchise at the moment. They are dying.
Nicely done.
Yes.
All right.
We're going to talk about Mike Sullivan possibly losing his job a little bit later because Shayna Goldman from The Athletic is going to join us in a little bit. But Dave, what's your L?
That's a nice tease.
Hey, thank you.
My L is another big opening night loss. This one is the Edmonton Oilers. As I get the L into there.
The Edmonton Oilers.
So much hype about the Oilers this year, and rightly so. Like a lot of people have them picked as their Western Conference champion, maybe winning the Stanley Cup this year. And they went out and they got, what was the word used? Curb stomped?
Stomped.
They got spanked on their home ice.
American History X.
Which we know that building must have been going nuts. That building must have been so rocking. And Winnipeg goes out and just puts the pank on the Oilers. And look at that guy. He was probably at the final too. 6-0. So I'm not saying the Oilers are going down the Penguins path at all, but just kind of one of those situations there in Edmonton.
I'm sorry, did you say the words pank?
Yeah, I think I did. Am I not allowed to say that?
I'd never heard that before. Ethan, have you heard that?
I haven't heard that before, but I just want to say, like, the Oilers, it has to feel like deja vu all over again, right? With the way they started last year.
Yeah.
And coming off a cup final loss to, in Game 7, they're as close as you could possibly get. They're everybody's Stanley Cup final, champion pick, apparently.
Yeah.
That was a bad start. Like that, it can't get any worse than getting shut out on your home ice when you have the most high-flying offense in the league. Like,
yeah.
That has to feel like what do we have to do to get off to a good start? And I know, it's one game, but opening night you always want to come out and look hot, look fresh, the way the Panthers did, the way the Rangers did. That has to be a deflating loss for the Oilers.
I predict that the Oilers will be really, really, really good looking after they go 0-3.
It reminded me of the 2007 Miami Heat. Because they won the championship.
Oh God!
The home opener they played
the
Chicago Bulls.
Yeah, I
was in the building for that one. They lost by 40.
They got killed that night.
Didn't they win like 15 games that year? Yes, though the Oilers
Shaq
are not going to do that.
For Sean Marion that year. Dwayne Wade got hurt.
Yeah,
that was like the Kasib Powell and I'm trying to remember some of those guys. I interned with the Heat that year. That was like my break into the industry.
Yeah,
and that was a great season to start working in pro sports.
I remember because I was in the building and during the fourth quarter we left early to go to Bubblegum Shrimp at Bayside.
Nice.
Yeah.
We haven't been there in a little while.
Yeah, we got solicited by a stripper who was passing out flyers for a strip club. And my friend Tommy, he said, no, I don't want that. She threw the pamphlet at him. Like one of those playing cards, like just threw the pamphlet at him.
It's a disgruntled stripper.
Yeah, she was not happy with that. But
maybe she was upset about the Heat getting beat.
No, I mean, she was probably upset by not being in the building. But yeah, she would have been even more upset if she was.
Well, I imagine a big Heat win, leads to a bit more lucrative night in that, in that region of the employment in Miami, in the clubs and the strip clubs and everything.
So the Panthers.
Yeah, all I know is I enjoyed the peel and eat shrimp.
Somebody's in Ethan's ear. Get them back on track.
All right, we will get back on track. So before we go to Shayna, we had a meeting of the minds with a guy named Stanley.
Finally.
On Tuesday, David and I where we had a little meet and greet with Stanley. The media did as well.
Hey, look at
and
us.
we were in the Sawgrass room at Amerant Bank Arena. And look at that guy. Look at him.
Man.
Just looking all shiny and beautiful. And I'm not talking about David. I'm talking about the Stanley Cup. That was great. Because for me personally, I've been chasing that trophy down
all summer.
Yeah. I wanted my chance to celebrate with that trophy, just like everybody else did, for no apparent reason. I was the only one, and maybe Chris Cody, who did not get to celebrate with that trophy. And I finally got to do it.
It happened.
It happened. It finally happened. And so did our families.
Yes, which was really cool, too.
Yeah, that was really cool because on Wednesday, your family actually did it earlier than
it
ours.
was when the Panthers did their Fan Fest training camp thing. They surprised everybody, and the Cup showed up. And I was there to cover practice. My family was there to watch practices and all that.
Yep.
You were gonna come. We had been talking about it. So as soon as they said, "Oh, we're gonna go do I'm texting you. I'm like, Roy, where are you? You got to get here right now. It's the Cup."
Yeah, I was in South Miami.
Oh my God, dude!
I was so far away.
My heart dropped. That was. So thank goodness that it came around again. You had a chance to see it. I know Claire had a chance to see it, which is so cool.
That happened on Wednesday. Anid, my wife, and Claire, my daughter. Apparently, the Stanley Cup was in Miramar, and they were able to see it. And that really,
thanks,
really,
Milton.
Yeah, it took a hurricane to do that, unfortunately.
An act of God.
Yeah, but we're thinking of everybody right now who's affected by the hurricane. So hopefully you guys get back on your feet. Claire and Need, the fact that they were able to share time with the Stanley Cup, something that's been my passion for the past 33 years, because I was a Sabres and Blackhawks fan before that.
Yeah, big Dominik Hasek fan.
Yeah, thank you. I was following his entire career. Yeah. The fact that they were able to share that moment with the Stanley Cup really filled my heart with joy 100%, and that was awesome. So hopefully when I show Claire the picture when she's older and she's fully appreciated that'll be a great story to tell.
Well, it's like you said to me the other day when you're talking about Claire and seeing the Cup, and it's this next generation of fans that are now being introduced to this amazing, it's a great team. The Stanley Cup has been around town. It's just a totally unique time to be a Panther fan.
Yeah.
And to have our kids, which is just crazy to even think about, our kids, the Panthers are Stanley Cup champions. Like, this is all like mind-blowing, but
they only know winning hockey down here.
I saw a kid at the game the other night, and I'm like, you have no idea, kid.
No, well, that's the thing. Like, that
you have no idea,
that
kid.
kid is us as Dolphin fans in the late 80s, early 90s. Like, they didn't get a Super Bowl, but they were there.
Yeah, a whole bunch
They
of
had
AFC
Marino.
championship appearances.
Like, they were, so hopefully these kids don't feel the heartbreak that we've been feeling in our football fandom for the last 30 some odd years. But yeah, I didn't mean to take that in such a dark place. But
no, yes, you did.
Stop hurting me, Dolphins, please. Please.
Oh, man. Yeah, that was amazing. And the fact that, this Stanley Cup has been in this state because both teams have been in the Stanley Cup final for
5
how many
years.
consecutive years
5
now?
years. The road to the Stanley Cup has come through Florida. It doesn't always stop in Florida. 3 times in 5 years?
Yeah.
And we'll see if we
not
can keep
including
that
the
going.
bubble, I guess, huh?
Well,
technically.
Yeah, but they brought it back to Tampa eventually.
Yeah, on a boat, I'm sure.
But either way, state of hockey.
The state of hockey is Florida.
All right, coming up next, we are going to talk to Shayna Goldman from The Athletic and the Too Many Men podcast. I cannot wait because she is an encyclopedia of hockey knowledge, and can't wait to hear what she has to say.
Hey, it's Mike Ryan, and there's so many great things about football. I think my favorite thing is the random occasional year where my team is good. That makes football a lot better than the normal experience. But one thing that routinely makes football better, Miller Lite. Yeah, Miller Lite. The perfect supplement to your football weekends. They know the passion that comes with rooting for your team. Like the debate it sparked way back in 1975. Great taste versus less filling. What's your favorite thing about it? Let me tell you something. My favorite thing about it is that it's both. It's got great taste and it's less filling. Miller Lite keeps it simple. Undebatable quality, great taste, and only 96 calories. A light beer that tastes like beer. Make your game time taste like Miller Time. Tastes great and less filling. Let it be both. Make your game time taste like Miller Time. Tastes great and is less filling. Let it be both. To get Miller Lite delivered right to your door, Visit MillerLite.com/Dan, or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories per 12 ounces, fewer calories and carbs than premium regular beer.
The Athletic has released its predictions for the 2024-25 NHL season. We have Shayna Goldman from The Athletic and from Too Many Men. Oh, that's a beautiful podcast, man. I'll tell you right there. That's a great podcast. I'm a big fan as well. So we're going to start with the Florida Panthers, considering that they won the Stanley Cup. On the prediction side, you guys have them at 104.7 points. That's ranked 5th in the league. I'm going to round that up to 105. Thank you very much.
Nicely done.
92% chance of making the playoffs. That's also ranked 5th in the league. 8% chance of winning the President's Trophy. 29% chance of winning the division. 17% chance of winning the conference. And 9% chance for repeating as Stanley Cup champions. That's also 5th in the league. You want to explain how you came up with that tabulation there, Shayna?
No, that's a Dom problem.
Okay, that's a Dom problem.
Dom builds the model, and he does all the projections for this. And our job is to make them make sense, contextualize them, and to pick them apart if we see something that maybe doesn't add up a little bit. Mm-hmm. But a lot of the data, it's based on 3 years worth of data for skaters, and for goalies, it's 5 years worth of data. It's weighed for recency and adjusted for age. So that's why some players look the way that they do in the preview. So you'll see guys like Boquist. They don't grade out very well, or Nate Schmidt. And it's because of what they did in recent years. We can try to understand what they're going to do in Florida and assume, Nate Schmidt is going to be sheltered a lot, and that's going to work well for him. And we know that worked for him last year, and account for that. But, a model does its job, and then we do everything around it. It's always funny to me because everyone always looks at the number and they're like, that's it. That's the bottom line. And it's like, wait, but there's more.
Yeah, there is more, because we are not accounting for injury. And what happened last night to Aleksander Barkov kind of affects those numbers now.
I would think so,
Shayna?
Yeah, just a little bit. That's something that moving forward in the projections will be accounted for. So every day Dom updates them, and he'll put in a player's injury, the length of injury. So with these preseason previews, like, we were trying to project for that. So say Drew Doughty, it's like if he misses X time, this is what it looks like. If it's longer. So all of that does get wrapped in there. But with the Panthers, you lose Barkov, and that's going to throw everything off kilter, what works for them is their depth. And they have a lot of center depth. So someone like Lundell, we know, can step up and play a bigger role if they need him to. And, they have this versatility within their lineup that Sam Reinhart, like, he's played center before. So is Evan Rodriguez. So you can have players shift into different roles. And I think that's a huge strength of the Panthers. And it's the reason we like them so much, right? They have all these options for line combinations that maybe we don't usually see, that they have in their back pocket to help, mitigate any injury loss. It's going to be very difficult to mitigate this one because he's that important of a player, and he plays in all situations in the most important minutes. But they do have some really good talent to help keep everything afloat while they're missing key players. Just look at last year, what they did without Montour and Ekblad to open the season.
Shayna, I wanted to ask you about the Calder prediction, or whatever we're calling. Yeah, predictions, right?
Yeah,
stumbling over my first words of the interview here. I like Michkov. I'm very excited to see him this season whenever that ends up happening in Philly. But last night we saw Macklin Celebrini's NHL debut. Kind of a funky goal, but still found the back of the net. I'm really excited about San Jose just in terms of the youth on that team. Do you agree that Michkov is perhaps the Calder leader in the clubhouse as we enter the season, or are you more on the Celebrini train? I'm just curious what your thoughts are.
Yeah, the Calder Trophy is actually one of my least favorite to talk about and
perfect.
Analyze. No. It's my least favorite to analyze because we don't have like a guideline for it, and it's kind of just based on like rookie vibes. You look at like the Norris, and we're saying like, okay, you need to play in all situations. You have to kill penalties. You have to go up against top competition and play number 1 minutes, right? For the Calder, we don't have that. Every year we're like, well, this guy does this and this guy does that. And you're, comparing apples to oranges, like the Batard versus the Faber conversation last year. So it's going to be interesting to see how it shakes out this year because, someone like Lane Hudson might get his name in the mix. And he looks really good so far in a very short time in Montreal. But now you're comparing a defenseman to forwards, and you might be comparing his offense because it feels like a defenseman needs to score a lot to even get his name in the rookie race. But, Michkov for Celebrini, I think, is going to be a really fun race because you have a ton of skill there. My pick going into the year is Celebrini because I think, one, he's the bigger name and that recognition is going to work in his favor. Two, I think that a lot of people can be biased when it comes to Russian players and nitpick their games in ways that maybe won't apply to someone else. We hear a lot of Russian players in the early years get beat up for their defense, even though the Americans and the Canadians might have the same issues. But I think the fact that San Jose has so little going on outside that top line, we're going to be so drawn to seeing what Celebrini does in his minutes that I think it might get more attention versus Philly when you have someone like Konechny who's going to be getting some attention as well. And I think already we just see with Celebrini that he's so comfortable at this level, to pull off that first goal, which was a pass attempt, right? A spin-around, a pass. To try to do that at the NHL level in the middle of a game is really gutsy, and it shows like a comfort level to do that at this level already that I'm very excited to see what he looks like in, game 60.
Amen.
Getting back to Aleksander Barkov, he was the clear-cut favorite to win the Selke Trophy. If he is out long-term, who takes the mantle now?
Yeah, that's a really good question because it feels like, we've been, not we, but people have been lazy with their analysis.
We've been lazy. Yeah.
No. I'm going to say like the voters of years past. It was like, okay, we know Jonathan Taves, we know Anze Kopitar, we know Bergeron. Let's just pick one of the three. And I know it's morphed into more of a two-way award, and it's always interesting because guys like, Adam Lowry was getting hype last year when he was just a great shutdown center. So it's nice to see it still can be judged that way. But there are definitely other names that are going to emerge. Like, if Jordan Staal repeats what he did last year, maybe he gets a little more hype. Or if Seth Jarvis, very rare for a winger to get Selke hype, but if he can do what he did last year, away from Staal a little bit more, maybe that'll help him. Austin Matthews could gain a little bit of traction. He's killing penalties. He was very good defensively last year. But I look at a guy like Nico Hischier. I've been waiting for him to get his moment, and last year it just didn't happen because of the injuries. It's like, here's a Patrice Bergeron left field. Can anyone step up? And Barkov ran away with it. I really wonder if Hischier could be the guy because he has all the two-way talents, but he's just that good of a shutdown center and can go up against top competition. With the Devils being better in general and having a little bit more, injury luck, better coaching, I think it's going to put him in a better position to succeed.
We talk about the Devils and the Jack Adams Award. Right now, the favorite is Sheldon Keefe. He's implementing a new system down there in New Jersey now, and leaving the Devils is Lindy Ruff. And the Buffalo Sabres are 0-3-0 right now. They have the 2 international games against.
It's pretty rough.
Yeah, it's pretty bad in Buffalo right now. So why don't you talk about the Jack Adams candidates right now?
All right, so I think new coaches get a lot of hype because it's easiest. It's more, you have the more tangible results. They walk in the door and see what they do. I think some coaches get knocked when they have elite talent, like Jared Bednar's never won it. John Cooper generally isn't in the race because you look at the players that they have and go, it's not the coaching, it's everything else. And obviously it's a mix of both. Someone like Keefe is going to get a lot of hype. I'll be interested to see what Craig Berube does if maybe Toronto has a better regular season and just looks like a bona fide contender that has a playoff shot. Maybe he'll get a little bit of hype. But I'm looking at guys like Tarigny in Utah. Sorry, like Arizona is like floating in my brain. Utah, I think he was such a good coach last year, and I think that they're going to be in the playoff mix, and that's going to get him a little bit more traction in the conversation. I think someone like Andrew Brunette, he could have gotten a little bit more hype last year. So those are the guys for me I'm watching, and even just a full season of Chris Knoblauch. Like if Chris Knoblauch was there all year last year, he probably would have gotten a little bit more hype in the race. But since it was only a mid-season coaching change, someone like Tocchet was already the winner before Knoblauch even took the job because we saw how well Vancouver did out the gate.
So looking over the predictions, I see a lot in the Metro that jump out at me, which is, I know, in your backyard. Let's see here, we've got Carolina as the biggest disappointment, got the Devils as a dark horse contender, got Mike Sullivan as one of the first coaches out. I'm really excited to see what the Metro has to offer this year. Obviously, the Rangers are super high. Pittsburgh, I know Roy is very excited to see their demise potentially. Washington, I think, could be a fun team to watch this year. Just kind of wanted to get your take on the Metro and what you're excited to see kind of play out this year.
Yeah, there's a lot of good teams, and it's really competitive, so I think that makes for a more exciting time. Last year you had the Flyers as the surprise team, and while I think they're going to be better than last year in some ways, because we're going to see, more progression and development from their younger guys, I don't think they're going to be as much of a fixture in the playoff conversation. For me, I'm watching a team like the Devils. Can they rebound? Some people are chalking them up as yes, they're going to reach the Stanley Cup final, and some people have a ton of doubts. I feel like there's no in-between with the takes on the Devils. The Islanders are an interesting team because you want to see what can a full season of Patrick Roy look like when he had such a great impact on their defense. And you saw what happened last night and the response goals back and forth. Can they be better in the third period? Can they defend leads better? It's going to be a really interesting question moving forward. The Penguins and the Caps, it's like the end of an era for two different franchises. And it feels like the Capitals last year, we were all counting out, and we didn't account for Spencer Carberry and what he would do with a pretty diminished roster. And, they got a lot of reinforcements. So I feel like they're more of a team to watch, but it does feel like everyone around them got better as well. And then Pittsburgh, like you said, like, what's going to happen there? It's such a big question because everyone wants to see, well, not everyone, but a lot of people want to see Sidney Crosby go for it one more time.
No, we don't.
Listen, I love watching Sidney Crosby play. I absolutely love it. He's still one of the best players in the world. There's no doubt about it. Do you want to see new teams get in the mix? Like, I personally do. I think we've seen a lot of the Penguins for a long time that I don't mind us, zoning in on a new, fresher option out there. But I'm curious what he can do, and I'm curious if the team could be a little bit better around him. Like, what's the impact of just changing an assistant coach? Something they really probably should have done last year when you saw how horrible their power play was, I don't know, week 1 of the season. It was like everything was screaming at them to make that move sooner. Did they wait too long? And now everyone's a year older, so you kind of screwed yourself? Like, maybe.
Well, Pete Blackburn had the line of face-off. I had one of the lines of face-off on Amazon Prime. He said that the Capitals vomited into the playoffs.
Oof.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. He's absolutely right.
So real quick, though, out of that division, though, do you have 3 playoff teams? Do you have 4, 5 playoff teams? What are you thinking?
Okay. Definitely have 3.
Well, obviously. 3 would be the minimum.
Yes.
Okay, let me think.
5 would be the maximum.
I'm going to say the Rangers, the Canes, and the Devils, because I'm going to cheat and say, 1, 2, 3 in. I'm going to say the Islanders definitely make it.
Oh, wow.
I like
That's real metropolitan right there.
Yeah, I bet on them last year to make it, and I think they're going to do it again, especially if Sorokin, is healthy enough down the stretch. I feel like that's going to be a good sign for them. Trying to think about the Atlantic. I'm going to say one Atlantic team gets in as a wild card. Okay. I'm going to say it's going to be 4-4 this year. That's there we go.
Split.
That's what I'm going with. It's cheating a little bit, but I'm going to say the Penguins just miss out, and it's going to be on goaltending. And I'm going to say the Capitals don't make it because everyone around them got better. So I'm going to say the Islanders are the team that sneaks in. It's going to be very tri-state area heavy with the Carolina Hurricanes at the top.
Easy travel, though, which I think we can appreciate after last year.
Yeah, just take the bus or the train. It's all good. Finally, a bit of history was made this week in the NHL with Jessica Campbell in Seattle becoming the first woman to be a NHL assistant coach. And you gotta say that the Kraken are pretty much the most progressive team in the league. Why don't you go over what's going on in Seattle?
Yeah, they are definitely progressive. They hire the best people for the job. And everyone wants to jump and say, oh, it's a diversity hire and this and that. Like, no, this is the best person for the job. Mm-hmm. There have been mediocre white men just surviving in the NHL for so long. So we don't need to be judgy now that someone who looks a little bit different gets a job, because we have watched a million men strike out and nobody has any questions about hiring them again. It starts at the top. You have Alexandra Mandrecki as the assistant GM, and that's a brilliant mind in hockey right there. And not only is she a woman, but she's a nerd. So you have 2 things that the hockey men hate altogether, and she's doing a great job there. But it trickles down the entire organization, and I think it's fantastic. And with Jessica Campbell, it's great to enjoy the hype of what she's doing and the historic moment. But I love just when this is going to be normal. And when you look at, I think it was in the third period, you saw her drawing up a play and all the players huddled around her with the whiteboard. Yeah. And you just look at it and go, that is what I want to see all the time. Like, that to me was the most normal moment of the game that we can all just focus in on and just go, wow. Now, when that starts happening on the regular, that's the day I'm personally pumped for, but it's a great start.
Yeah, no more Mike Babcocks of the world getting jobs for.
Yeah, we don't need to manifest that ever. Anytime there's a coaching opening, we hear all the insiders saying his name. Don't even speak it into existence. There are other people out there besides Quenneville and Babcock and the Bowmans of the world. We can get a little creative. There are not only 35 men to choose from.
Yeah, no more Bill Peters. Yeah, exactly.
Amen to that.
Shayna Goldman from The Athletic and Too Many Men, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Shayna.
When you're hiring for your small business, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. As Meadowlark Media continues to grow as a content studio, we strive to hire only the best and most qualified candidates. Thankfully, with LinkedIn, they've made it easy for us to find them. LinkedIn isn't just a job board. LinkedIn helps you hire professionals you can't find anywhere else, even those who aren't actively searching for a new job but might be open to the perfect role. In a given month, over 70% of LinkedIn users don't visit other leading job sites. So if you're not looking on LinkedIn, you're looking in the wrong place. On LinkedIn, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. Hire professionals like a professional on LinkedIn. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/prep. That's linkedin.com/prep to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
TD, Tutty, in for 6. Touchdowns matter more at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. I don't care how they score them. I want to bet on touchdowns. And DraftKings Sportsbook is delivering. Ready to do a touchdown dance of your own? New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Score big with DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 place to bet touchdowns. Download the Sportsbook app and use code DAN. That's code DAN for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball.
All right, it's time for a quick Florida Panthers recap. Let's go over the week that was, and the week that was
mixed bag, but now it's kind of like a vomit bag after the way the second game ended with injury to a very important player that we'll get to in a minute.
Yeah, I'm going to treat this like Ahmad Rashad on Inside Stuff with Rewind. Oh, yeah. Monday, the Florida Panthers got their rings, and it was a private ceremony because it was going to be public at Amerant Bank Arena. The fans were going to celebrate with the team getting these rings, except there was a bit of a storm coming the state's way, unfortunately. So they had to move it private. They moved it to...
Look at that ring, man.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man. They moved it to the War Memorial, to the practice facility, the building next to it. And it was nice. It was actually a nice building. It was the first time I actually been in the actual, it looked like a place where you could have a high school graduation. It looked nice.
Yeah.
So everybody was at a table. Everybody got the rings. It was in a box that had a damn video monitor on it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Personalized boxes, everybody's name on it. Like, it's fancy, man.
Yeah. The rings were beautiful, and the players were surprised when they opened that box. It looked really, really nice.
Oh, so nice. No, and well-deserved. I mean, look, we know that last, 10, 20 years, whatever, that the championship rings have gotten
bigger and bigger,
ridiculous looking. Like, it's basically going to be like what do they tell me to put up, 4 finger things? Brass knuckles. They're going to be like brass knuckle rings at some point for sure. But I love the personalized touches. I love that there's palm trees in it. I love that there's a rat in there. They got a championship belt, which is pretty quirky, but it's important to the team.
That was the WWE belt that they bestowed on. That's a new thing that every sports champion in North America, at least, is getting a WWE championship belt. That's a nice thing to do. Good job, Paul Levesque. For that idea. Good job by him.
I like that they had the word freedom in there.
Freedom. Yeah, that back to the parade. That was the thing that Paul Maurice screamed out to the players as he turned around and faced them and with his back to the crowd and yelled freedom like Mel Gibson on Braveheart.
I don't get the reference, but that's okay.
Okay, well, there you go.
Yeah, I blocked that guy out of.
Yeah. I understand. Tuesday, the Florida Panthers opened the season against the Boston Bruins. They raised the Stanley Cup banner. It was a beautiful banner, if I do say so myself.
It was pretty cool.
It's a gold outline. The actual banner is white, and it says Stanley Cup champions on the top. You got the Stanley Cup in the middle, the logo a little bit below it.
It's simple.
And the year.
It's beautiful. It's perfect. I love that it just hung above the ice for the entire game. Obviously, they're going to move it.
Yeah, it's going to be between the conference championship banner and Roberto Luongo's retirement number.
I'm just like.
I think that's the great thing about this was, and Paul Maurice referenced this either the other day or after the game or whatever, that the ceremony was just quick, simple. They brought out the cup. The guys gathered around it. Barkey gave it a kiss as he handed it back to Phil Pritchard. They put the banner in the sky, and that was it. And they went and played hockey. And I just thought, like Maurice said, with everything going on, he felt that was right. And I felt like that was perfect. And it would have been cool to have a bunch of fanfare and stuff, but it was simple, it was quick, it was easy, and it was absolutely beautiful to see that banner hang in there.
You know who appreciated that short
the media.
ceremony? Not the media, but the Boston Bruins. They were hanging around in their locker room for 15 minutes as opposed to 20 or 25, which is how these things used to go. Like, it was celebration time, and the Panthers kept it quick, and that was good on them. But I'm sure the Bruins did not appreciate the ass kicking that the Panthers gave them in that game.
Nobody to blame but yourself. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you should have signed Swayman earlier. Yeah, because he wouldn't have missed training camp and you would have been in net.
He could have been in net. Fans wanted him in net.
They sure did.
They were chanting, "We want."
That
Swayman."
was awesome.
That was awesome.
That was the moment where I'm like, this fan base has arrived. Like, we're making fun of other fan bases now. Like, that is awesome.
Yeah. Adam Boquist got hit in the face with the puck. He left early. He did not play on Thursday in Ottawa.
No, hopefully he's going to play on Saturday.
Yeah, hopefully.
But at least that means that he's close enough that it's nothing serious.
Yeah, hopefully. Following the game, we were surprised as a group of media because Bill Zito came in with Carter Verhaeghe and announced the contract extension 8 years.
8 years. Carter Verhaeghe joins the Panthers core that's now signed long-term. Barkov, Tkachuk, Forsling, Reinhart, Lundell, all these guys locked up through the end of the decade at very team-friendly numbers, which I know makes us all very excited.
Yeah, I want to go through this list here. Carter Verhaeghe now has 9 years left on his contract with the extension. Gustav Forsling was the guy that was signed before him. Actually, was it before? No. Sam Reinhart was the one that was signed
July,
before him.
Forsling was earlier, but it's all in this year.
Yeah, it's all this year. So both Forsling and Reinhart have 8 years left on their contracts. Aleksander Barkov has 6 years left. Matthew Tkachuk has 6 years left, and Anton Lundell, who was the guy that was signed before Gustav Forsling, has 6 years left on his contract. So those guys are all locked up, and I think the Panthers are pretty well and set to build their team around them.
Yes. It's the numbers that they're locked up to that's kind of a big
even
deal
better.
Also. Like Barkov's the biggest one at $10 million, and look, Barkov, Tkachuk, Reinhart, these are all guys that should be getting, that double-digit number.
Yeah.
But Tkachuk's 9.5, Reinhart's 8.25. What else? Lundell's at $5 million. Gus Forsling's $5.7 million for Gus Forsling for the next 8 years.
We're talking about they're making it up on the signing bonus, though, right?
Well, that's how Bill Zito structures a lot of these contracts, which is very friendly to the players. He structures it as like a $1 million salary, and the rest is all given as a signing bonus, which the players then receive as a lump sum on, I don't know if it's the first day of the league year or if it's like September 1st, but I know that they receive one big lump sum as opposed to a salary, which if there's a lockout or if there's some kind of thing that stops play, a pandemic, that could impact when you're getting paid your salary, not your bonus. Your bonus money goes straight to you. So that's something that Bill Zito has structured a lot of these contracts to make it a bit more player friendly. So
one defenseman locked up long term, though.
Well, two if you count Kulikov. Kulikov's locked up through 2028.
And I have to imagine that Ekblad, they're going to pay him. I would assume. I know that he's an interesting trade candidate that they might open up some salary cap, by moving on from Ekblad, but he seems like a guy that even if he doesn't get a big extension the way these other guys have, he might take a cap-friendly deal for them to stick around because he wants to be here long-term. Yeah. I know that his plays decline. He's the kind of guy that could be the odd man out, but it seems like everybody wants the same thing, which is him to be a Panther for life. Am I wrong on that? What's the sense inside the building?
I mean, when you say everybody, I mean everybody internally, yeah. Like the team wants him there. He wants to be there. They're going to have to come, meet in the middle on a number. I don't know how high they're willing to go with Ekblad. I think he's such a big part of the team on the inside, and he's been around forever that you've got to. And Bill Zito does right by his guys. Like it's what he does well. It's why he's such a beloved general manager on the player side. But yeah, look. At the end of the day, like it's a business. So are they going to be able? Because they've also got Sam Bennett, who we haven't talked about, who's also going to be a free agent this summer.
They're going to need Sam Bennett.
Well, Sam Bennett, like he's such a crucial part of this lineup. Like when Sam Bennett is out of the lineup, the Panthers it changes a lot.
Yeah.
Because while they're very deep down the middle, the centers have so much drive in what Florida does. That's why Barkov and Bennett and Lundell are so important to driving this team. Which is why I think the priority would be to Bennett over Ekblad.
I was reading Athletic season preview for the Panthers the other day, and they were saying that like Bennett's not an ideal 2C, but eventually the plan is for him to be a 3C, would it not be? And have Lundell kind of move up the ranks. And
I don't know if they look at it in terms of a hierarchy. I think because Bennett right now has been like a perfect fit on that Tkachuk line, whether it's Verhaeghe, Rodriguez, whoever they pop on there. I mean, they had Tarasenko there for a little while. Like, it doesn't really matter. If Lundell supersedes Bennett at some point or overlaps him or whatever the word is, then that would be awesome.
I want to talk more about actually how they're going to deal with the replacement of Barkov in the short term because of his injury, but we're going to do that because Thursday he got hurt.
They keep with the continuity.
Yeah, thank you. They lost to Ottawa 3-1. Now listen. That score, don't let the score fool you, because the Panthers were so close to scoring an own mark in that game after the first period.
Yep.
I mean, if you look at the Corsi numbers, I mean, look at the shot attempts here. 85 shot attempts. 85 shot attempts.
Yeah, they had like 31 blocks or something, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the Fenwick right now. The shot attempts without blocks, it was 52. So, yeah, that was a lot of block shots in this game.
Yeah, it's over 50 for the first two games of the Panthers. It's a trend that we saw last year that I know you kind of tracked.
Yeah.
So it's good that they're getting putts to the net and that they're controlling the puck a lot, and that's all good, but they've just got to get to the results.
12 high-danger chances in that game, too. So, I mean, they put forth the effort. I mean,
Mark was great.
He was great.
He was great.
Absolutely great. High pressure in that game, but with empty net, Bob was pulled for the extra man, and with Aleksander Barkov in the high slot, he had a chance to get a shot off in traffic, but his stick broke. Now, if I'm Aleksander Barkov, I'm changing sticks. I'm changing stick companies. If I have Bauer, I'm switching to Warrior in this situation, or I'm going to CCM, because that one led to a troubling sequence of him trying to stop a empty net chance from happening with Tim Stützle, and Stützle ended up scoring. But both men fell. Stützle ended up landing on Aleksander Barkov, and both of them ended up sliding into the boards, skates first, with Barkov colliding. And now we don't know what's going on. We don't even have what he injured yet. So,
yeah, Jameson, I just went to his Twitter to see Jameson Olive, and he basically said that with no practice today, we won't know until at least tomorrow.
Yeah, Friday's morning skate would be the first time that we hear from Maurice.
I did see somebody post a picture of Barkey walking, and I heard he was walking afterwards okay in the locker room. So,
that's
all right. That's good. He's not in the
huge, no boot,
if
no
he's
crutches.
Walking, then that's a great thing.
Without assistance. I mean, that was scary, man. I mean, especially seeing Barkey. It looked like he was crying for a second there. That really terrified me.
The head shake. Yeah, it looked like he was saying, "No, I can't put any weight on it." So,
but again, in the moment, right? Like, you don't know exactly. You don't want to take any chances. So I get that. You want to get off the ice, get your skate off, see what happens. That's why you don't want to jump to any conclusions. This is what we see. Barkov gets hurt. He doesn't want to put any weight on it. He's helped off the ice. Maurice doesn't know anything. They're evaluating him. Fine. There's no jumping to conclusions. We know if it is X, Y, and Z, what that will mean. Mm-hmm. But there's no point in assuming that's the case until you know anything. Remember the final last year, Game 2. Yeah. Barkov took that hit from Draisaitl, and we were freaking the bleep out. Like, Florida's up 2-0 in the series, but Barkov,
we thought he had a concussion.
We thought he was done for at least, who knows if he's in the protocol.
Probably, yeah.
He was on the ice.
There was no penalty on that, right?
No, I don't think so. He was on the ice the next time they practiced. It was fine. So I'm not saying we don't know, but let's just hope. And I know Rose is listening. Let's just hope and pray and whatever we need to do. That's
her boy.
I'm good if he holds out for a few games.
Let's just say that.
I mean, it's early in the season.
We
don't need him from
second game of the season. Yeah.
You don't need him from Buffalo.
You just don't want something that requires surgery or that requires an extended, time to recover. We just don't know. Yeah. So just hopefully, for Barkov and the Panthers' sake, it's nothing long term.
Tomorrow they play the Buffalo Sabres. Not really much to talk about there. Buffalo's 0-3-0 right now. So
Barkov can take that one off.
Yeah, he can take that one off. So let's get into a moment of puck zen. Let's go back to last season during the Stanley Cup Final. We have a couple of videos, and we're going to need the sound for this one, Ethan, because we have Paul Maurice. We have two videos that came from Face Off inside the NHL from Amazon Prime.
Such a good series.
Yeah, I mean, it was a beauty. He is a beauty. I can say that right now. We came to the conclusion of we found out there was a still shot, right, of everybody paying attention to Paul Maurice on the bench. The players, the staff, and the fans next to the bench.
Everybody was just locked on.
Yeah, we were trying to find out what exactly did he say, and he said this.
You f***ers, pay attention. Nobody's fucking thing. You get a 3-1 lead, and now you want to make plays. The plays. Pound their f***ing D, so in Game 7, they got nothing left.
That would make me skate through the boards.
The production value, like you and even Swayman, huh? Like even the other goalie's looking up. I'm sorry, that's an
F-bomb.
That's an F-bomb.
I mean, you heard the video. Rose took out the audio of him saying the F-bombs.
I guess in my head, I just give Paul Maurice the credit. But sorry, Ethan, I make you do a little extra work there. But
you just wanted to make my job harder. It's okay.
Yeah, exactly. We have one more video, and we have it in the locker room of Paul Maurice, who doesn't know anything about goaltending.
He says he doesn't know anything about goaltending. I think we're going to have to call him out. Next time we go to a practice, we're going to have to say, Paul, you always tell us you don't know anything about goaltending. Talk to Tally. Talk to Addy. This video, the evidence says otherwise. Hold on.
Let me explain this one quick before we do this. All right. So he's taken one of the goals. It was either Stolarz or it was Stolarz' pads. Okay. He took the block and he took the glove, and he went through a little bit of visual aid of what he wanted the Panthers to do when facing Stuart Skinner. He wanted them to shoot up high. Let's play the video.
Oh, this is fucking tough for an old man. All right, look it. You get in fucking tight, he comes out like this at you. So don't get in that fucking tight on him. And the play is not here. Under the fucking bar. Are you guys good here?
Yeah.
We're good, man. We're a good team. Let's go fucking enjoy what we do.
Yeah, and they definitely enjoyed what they did.
That was good form, man. He was down in the butterfly. He had the gloves out in front of it. Like that was he knows more than he's letting on.
Yeah.
You're not fooling us anymore, Paul.
That was the hockey show for this week for David Jork, for Ethan, whatever the your last name is. For Rose Arias, who's not here.
And Shayna Goldman.
For Shayna Goldman. For Jason and Gino in the back. We will see you next week. Okay, goodbye.
Decisions.
Wait a minute. Are you still looking for cars on Carvana?
Yeah. Decisions.
When I used Carvana, I found the exact car I was looking for in minutes. Bought it on the spot.
Electric or full diesel? Decisions.
Come on, you've been at it for weeks. Just buy it already.
You're right. Crossover it is. Decisions decided.
Whether you know exactly what you want or like to take your time, buy your car the convenient way with Carvana.
Stugotz here. When you're hiring for your small business, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. As Meadowlark Media continues to grow as a content studio, we strive to hire only the best and most qualified candidates. Thankfully, with LinkedIn, they have made it easy for us to find them. LinkedIn isn't just a job board. LinkedIn helps you hire professionals you can't find anywhere else, even those who aren't actively searching for a new job but might be open to the perfect role. In a given month, over 70% of LinkedIn users don't visit other leading job sites, so if you're not looking on LinkedIn, you're looking in the wrong place. On LinkedIn, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. Hire professionals like a professional on LinkedIn. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/prep. That's linkedin.com/prep to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.